What if you could eliminate all objections on your sales calls? Well, that's exactly what I'm gonna cover in this video, and the one magic sentence that you can use to uncover and eliminate objections to close more high-ticket deals for your business. Now, this is actually a follow-up video to a previous video I made on the formula for a high-ticket sales call. If you wanna watch that whole video, I break it all down. I'll put a link up above the video and down in the description, and you can go ahead and watch that other video where we break down more in depth the call itself. What I want to focus on is one particular sentence that you can use. But before we get into that, you do need to know that the very important part in how I do these high ticket sales calls differently is most people, they'll do objection handling at the end. So they'll go in, they'll build rapport, they'll learn about the person. Some people don't do the discovery as well. Go watch the other video if you want to learn more about how that works. Then they'll present their offer, but then they'll do the close as step 4. And then when somebody says, well, I don't know right now, then they go in and they try to handle objections. But now you're on your back foot. You're trying to handle all of the objections on this call right after you've already presented what the offer and what the price point is. And the problem with that is now you're in damage control mode. And that's what we talked about in the previous video. What you have to do is handle objections, ideally in discovery, but any additional objections you want to handle before you get to the close. Now, how can you identify any lingering objections? I really want to get to that final enrollment, that final close with no objections. Well, how do you do that? The way that you do that is with this one magic sentence. And this is a sentence that you'll go through after you've outlined your whole offer. If there are any objections that come up there, you'll handle those first. Before you transition into your close, you ask this one simple question. The question goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, I'm absolutely not interested in this, and 10 being, yes, this is exactly what I need, this is perfect, where would you say you're at right now? Now you can see how powerful that question is on a scale of 1 to 10, and you're really painting the dichotomy between 1 and 10. 1 being, I'm totally not interested, and 10 being, yes, this is exactly what I need, it's a perfect fit. Now, what you wanna do at that point is hear the number that they say, get clarity on the number, double tie down, and then once they're a 10, that's when you go to the close. And so let's say somebody says, we're gonna go through a few examples here. Let's say somebody says it's a 10. They say 10 out of 10. Great, just to confirm, there's no questions, there's no, and nothing you need clarity on. You are a 10 out of 10. This is exactly what you're looking for. And then you get them to say yes. Now, if they say, well, that's when you can dive in. You can say, okay, so maybe there is something you're kind of thinking about. You want us to dive a little bit into that, and then you can get into the objection. So now, if they're a 10 out of 10, and then you bring up that price point, that's gonna lead to enrollment. And if you do this correctly, there should not be additional objections because they've already confirmed that they're a 10 out of 10 on the program. Now, there might be a financial objection. What this does is it eliminates all other objections besides financial. So if there is a financial objection, then at that point you can handle financial objections. We'll make other videos on this channel if you want. Let me know in the comments down below if this is valuable, if you want me to make more videos on financial objections, handling other objections, and I'm happy to do that for you. But you got them to confirm they're a 10 out of 10, then you go for the enrollment, and as long as there's no financial objections, then boom, they're good to go. But here's the thing, if there is a financial objection, what you wanna say is, well, hey, Jimmy, you said you're 10 out of 10. I'm just curious, I'm just curious, is there anything that's holding you back here from this? Does it have to do with finances? Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, how can we work together on this? How can we work together to make this work? And what do you have available to you? And then you're on their side. You actually move to their side of the table. They say, well, I've got about $5,000 right now and another $2,500 coming in a week. Okay, great. Let's do that 5,000. And then when you have that other 2,500, we can put that off a week and we can do the other 2,500 a week after that, whatever it happens to be. And now you're on their side of the table working with them to handle a financial objection, which is very different than the other objections that you could handle early on about the program. Do they trust you? Do they trust themselves? Right? Those are usually the two big objections. Do they fully trust you? Do they trust themselves? Do they trust the process? It's all trust-based, and whether or not they believe that this is going to work for them. Is this going to work for them? And that's the big thing that you want to uncover. So you want to get them to a 10 out of 10, then have the investment price point. Then the only thing that you're working on is how to actually have them be able to invest in the program. Now, let's handle the different levels. So that's a 10 out of 10. If they say they're an 8 or a 9 out of 10, they say, well, I'm an 8 out of 10. So you're 8 out of 10. What's stopping you from being a 10 out of 10? And then they're gonna say what the objection is. So maybe they say, well, I just don't know if this is gonna work for me. That's a very common objection. Then what you can do is handle that objection. Again, I don't want this video to be super long. There's plenty of other videos that I can create. Other people have created on handling objections like that. But what I wanna do is really talk about this one magic sentence. So then from there, you'll be able to handle that objection. But once you handle that objection, you wanna reconfirm, all right, so now that we're on the same page there, would you say you're a 10 out of 10? Either yes or no. If it's no, then okay, so is there something else holding you back? Then you handle that other objection. Notice how we're drilling down, we are digging down, and we're handling objections before we even bring up the price point. This is key, right? Before we even bring up how much this is gonna cost. But now if they say, yeah, I'm a 10 out of 10, just double confirm. Always double confirm. The first time they say they're a 10 out of 10, whether it's at the beginning or they say it later on after you handle objections, great, so you're a 10 out of 10. There's no questions, you got full clarity on this. Yes. Double confirm, now you can go into the price point and the enrollment. And that will boost your enrollments. Doing that, absolutely guaranteed to boost your enrollments because you handle the objections before the price point. Because what happens if you don't handle it before the price point? Then all of a sudden you can be tackling 2 objections at once. If there's a price objection and there's an objection about your program itself or the offer that you have or what you have to provide. And by the way, if you want to learn about crafting irresistible offers, we have a whole other video on that. Make sure you subscribe and turn on a bell notification for all of the videos that we have here because we're going to keep dropping these value bombs just like this on this channel. I'm committed to really providing the absolute best value to all of you who are watching. So hopefully you're finding this video valuable. Give it a like as well. All right, so let's say they say they're a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Now, you're entering, if they're below an 8, you're entering into the territory where you may need to have an additional call. 7, you gotta really feel it out. You gotta ask them, you say, okay, so just for clarity, what makes you a 7 and not a 10? And then you have them say their objection. Now, if it's minor objections, you can fully handle it. Treat it like an 8 or a 9, handle the objections. You know, is there anything else? Okay, are you a 10 out of 10? Are you sure you're a 10 out of 10? Then you can go and enroll them. A 7 can kind of go either way, but if they're a 6 or below, then you don't even want to offer the price point on that call because they need to do more homework to really understand your company and what you have to offer before you actually go for the enrollment. Let's just say they're a 6. They're a 6 out of 10. All right, so you're a 6. I'm just curious, you know, usually when people are a 6, I mean, usually I get to this point in the call, somebody's an 8 or 9. What makes you a 6 out of 10? And they're gonna tell you, and usually it's gonna fall into these 3 camps, because again, you haven't talked about the price point yet, so that's not an objection yet. At this point, they're usually 3. They either don't trust themselves, they don't trust you or your process, or they don't trust the bridge. They don't know that this is gonna work for them. They might trust themselves, might trust the process, but they don't know that this process will work for them. It's usually one of those 3 objections. There's also a spouse objection or decision maker objection, not just spouse. Decision maker, spouse, you wanna have them on a call. If you're on a call with a non-decision maker, you don't necessarily wanna offer the price point unless you know for certain that they're not going to get a decision maker on unless you present the price. Let's say it's more of a B2B transaction, they're gonna take this back. In that case, there's other tie downs that you can do, other ways that you can get them on your side to then go ahead and present correctly. And we can talk about that on another video. Again, we've done this all before, literally scaled up, you know, our own business to over $10 million a year. So we've learned a thing or two about high ticket sales. And that's exactly what I'm showing you. So let's just say it's a 6 out of 10. You've now asked them, they've shared a couple of things. You do want to respond. You want to say, okay, and so you handle that objection, either trust themselves, the objection about trust in you, or that this is going to work for them. And then what you say is, so I know you were a 6 out of 10 earlier. I really want to make sure you're a 10 out of 10. So I don't even want to offer something right now. What I want to do, I want to actually send a video to you. If I send a video to you, would you watch it? Yes. Now this video, this is actually a case study of somebody just like you. They're in the exact same position, and then here's what they were able to achieve. And I want you to watch that video and really get a sense for that. Take a look at my website, take a look at some of the other, I'll send you a page with some more details, right? Whatever that next step that you want to send is. And then let's talk tomorrow at 10. How does that work for you? And it's very counterintuitive because most people are taught you got to get the call, you know, one call closed, get the call on the first, get the sale on the first call. But here's the problem. If somebody's a 6 out of 10 or they're a 5 out of 10, even if you're able to get them up to a 10 out of 10, the odds of you being able to enroll them on that call is lower because you've just bridged a very big gap, but there's still gonna be a little part of them that's not necessarily ready to move forward, that needs to digest the information you've given them, maybe needs to watch a video, maybe needs to poke around a little bit. The other thing though is if you actually do get them to enroll, you're gonna have a much higher likelihood of having cognitive dissonance, which is somebody making a purchase decision and then they regret that decision and try to backtrack and back out of that decision. And that creates a negative experience for them, negative experience for you, because now they've made a decision, they made an investment, now they're asking to leave. So the best thing to do in this case is counterintuitive, is actually to turn this into a 2-call close and to set up a call either later that day or the next day. And what I like to do too is even just say the next day, I really want you to take some time to think about it, to sleep on it, and really think about this. And then the next day you're bringing it. But notice, we didn't actually make the offer. They don't know what it is. So that's the tie down. So if somebody knows the price, then they're much more likely to ghost. They now have missing information that's gonna allow them to hop on that next call because you're putting the price behind an additional call. And so now they know it's gonna help them, but they don't know how much it costs or exactly how it works. And that's what you would cover on that next call. Now, if they're a 5 or less, now 5 could fall into the 6 camp, but if they're really a 4 or less, I mean, usually that's a sign just to end the call. So honestly, what I would say is, well, Josh, I mean, if you're a 4 out of 10, after everything we talked about here, honestly, it's probably not the best fit for you. And I know you're probably not expecting me to say that, but I don't want to work with people that aren't a 10 out of 10, and I don't know if we can get there in this call. And then you see what they say. Now, if they try to buy themselves back in, well, I just say that because I got to learn more. Okay, great. What would you like to see? Because I don't want to even make an offer on this call, but I can send you some resources. Then you'd send them resources depending on how serious they are. You could set a follow-up, or you could put the ball in their court to reach back out. Because again, you don't want to waste up your time when you could focus on other prospects. But if they're like, yeah, I'm really just not that interested, I'm kind of window shopping right now, great. Is there any other resources that I can send you to help you make your decision? They'll tell you, you send those resources, you let them know, they can reach back out to you. Then occasionally you can do your follow-up, whether it be automated or manual, to see if that changes in the future. But that right there is the golden question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, I'm absolutely not interested, this is not what I'm looking for, and 10 being, yes, this is exactly what I need, it's a perfect fit, where would you say you're at? And then handling that objection from there and doing it before you present the price on the phone. And that way you eliminate all the trust-based objections, and then you get to the price, and then all that's left is a potential financial objection, which you can turn around in 180 and work with them. You can say, how can we make this work? Because now they're a 10 out of 10, they're fully bought in. They're now 100%, so you're on their side. You actually move over to their side of the table, and in car dealerships, they'll actually do this. They'll literally go around the side of the table. How can we make this work? Once you get full clarity that this is exactly what somebody wants, exactly what they need, then you're on their side of the table, and you can actually get into that full enrollment. So, I hope you found this video valuable. I actually feel it's probably one of the most valuable videos that I put out here recently, at least in the world of sales, high-ticket selling. If you're a coach or consultant, then this is really gonna be valuable to you. Now, I have additional trainings down below. Depending on where your business is, if you wanna scale your business to 6 or 7 figures, we have a conversion videos framework. This is designed specifically for high-ticket businesses, coaches, consultants, and experts to be able to craft videos like we're watching right now on YouTube to actually scientifically attract your ideal clients and then enroll them using our conversion video framework. We also have our YouTube ad strategies. If you're looking to scale your business to 7, 8 figures, have that consistent, predictable, high-paying clients coming into your funnel, filling up your calendar so you can start using these magic words. By the way, maybe you're a salesperson watching this video, you need to send this over or one of my other resources or trainings. What we can do is we can help you with the YouTube ad side as well to get consistent leads and sales coming into your business. Now, I've got 2 trainings down below. One is gonna be on conversion videos, and then the other is gonna be on YouTube ads. We, of course, have the ability to book strategy calls with your team if you're looking to see if that is a good fit for you. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, turn on the notification icon. We're gonna have many more great videos like this, and I will see you in the next one.